Hey everyone, welcome. So, are you ready to finally master your emotional stability and find a real sense of calm amidst the absolute chaos of everyday life? I'm thrilled to guide you through today's explainer. We're diving into a seriously powerful, transformative psychological tool straight from our source material. It's this incredible visualization technique called putting your ego on a shelf.
Let me ask you something, and be totally honest here. Do you control your emotions, or do they control you? Look, we've all been there, right? That universal, deeply personal pain of just reacting automatically, getting completely overwhelmed, and then saying or doing things we literally regret 5 minutes later. It's exhausting. It drains your energy, and honestly, it strains our relationships. But hey, the good news is there's a structured, entirely accessible way out of that cycle.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the chaos of emotions, followed by you are not your thoughts, and then put ego on a shelf. After that, we'll cover the practice of non-attachment, and finally, wrap up with the radar method. Let's jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this with Section 1, the chaos of emotions, navigating the internal storm. You know, when unchecked, our internal world can feel exactly like a violent storm, just unpredictable, messy, and totally overwhelming to our senses.
The core mechanism behind that storm is what's called the cognitive triangle. This is an idea borrowed from cognitive behavioral therapy, and it shows this interconnected cycle where your thoughts influence your feelings, which then in turn influence your actions and behavior. It's like a giant puzzle. When our ego gets involved, it traps us in this rapid, automatic cycle of emotional reactivity. A negative thought hits, boom, fear or pride flares up instantly. And before we even realize what's happening, we're acting out defensively. We're literally trapped inside this triangle.
In this reactive state, everything happens so incredibly fast. Emotions influence absolutely every aspect of your life, your decisions, your relationships, your overall well-being. But wait, here's the secret from the text to slowing it all down. Emotions are not facts. They are not reality. They aren't inherently good or bad. They just are. As the source material beautifully puts it, emotions are temporary winds that blow through you. They're deeply meaningful for sure, but they pass. They're simply indicators of your internal state, not dictators of your behavior.
To escape that reactive cycle, we move to Section 2. You are not your thoughts, separating identity from mental noise. This is where we really start to see how our ego distorts reality.
Now this is an absolute game changer. You are not your thoughts, feelings, or ego. You are the awareness that experiences them. Listen, if you struggle with your emotions, know that it's completely normal, but you've likely tangled up your core identity with your mental noise. You don't think your thoughts, you experience them. Actually, scratch that. It's more like you're the sky and your thoughts are just the weather. Your true self, your core identity, is completely separate from the passing mental traffic of everyday life.
Notice the stark difference here. In the fused state, this is ego-driven reacting. You say, I am angry or I am insulted. You literally become the emotion. Compare that to the detached state. This is shelf-driven responding. You say, I am experiencing anger. You create this clear mental category that separates your identity from the event itself. It gives you the incredible power to respond instead of blindly reacting.
Which brings us to Section 3, put ego on a shelf, a visualization for complete composure. We're going to intentionally slow down right here, because this is the ultimate solution for establishing and keeping your emotional stability.
Listen to this powerful instruction from the source. Imagine placing your self-esteem and emotional reactions on a metaphorical shelf out of immediate reach. Take a moment. Let that spatial metaphor fully sink in, creating distance. By doing this in your mind's eye, you literally make your emotional reactions inaccessible to the immediate trigger.
And this brilliantly illustrates how creating this tangible mental space acts like a mental circuit breaker. Putting your ego on a shelf creates a space that allows you to experience life's highs and lows with complete composure and clarity. So, when someone insults you or a big project fails, your ego isn't right there in the line of fire. It's tucked away safely on the shelf, leaving you the pure awareness to handle the situation calmly.
Moving on to Section 4, the practice of non-attachment. Stepping back from the storm. You see, the shelf visualization we just discussed is actually a practical, specific application of a much broader psychological framework.
So the crucial point is this.
Non-attachment absolutely does not mean shutting down or becoming some emotionless robot. No way. It means observing thoughts and emotions with detachment. It means you stop outsourcing your happiness to external outcomes, you let go of the urge to control every little thing, and you remember that all things are temporary. Loosening our grip on those rigid expectations is what actually gives us true freedom.
Non-attachment creates space to feel, to reflect, and to choose. I really want to emphasize this point. The space created by non-attachment is the exact physical space we just visualized by putting our ego on the shelf. In that gap between the trigger and your reaction, that's where you find calm, you find strength, and you find true freedom.
Now for our final section, reflect, describe, respond, or radar, putting theory into practice. It's time to take this newfound piece and apply actionable steps to maintain it in real time.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the radar method. It's a structured yet super flexible tool for clarity. It gives you a practical way to handle strong emotion and turn reactivity into intention. Step 1 is reflect. Step 2 is describe. And step 3 is respond. Let's break these down individually. Step 1, reflect. This means pausing to tune in to what you're experiencing emotionally, physically, and mentally, completely without judgment. By stopping to just ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? You actively interrupt those automatic ego-driven patterns in the cognitive triangle we talked about earlier. You're forcing a moment of mindful awareness before you act. You're literally just taking a breath.
Next is step 2, describe. Here, you put your feelings and thoughts into clear, honest words to create distance from the emotion. You might internally note, I feel hurt because I felt dismissed. You aren't blaming anyone, you're just naming the reality. And here's why this matters so much. Naming the emotion shrinks the chaos down to something manageable. It puts it in a box, ensuring your ego stays safely tucked away up on that metaphorical shelf.
And finally, step 3, respond deliberately from a place of calm rather than reacting automatically from a place of fear or pride. Because you reflected and described, you're no longer a victim of the internal storm. You are totally empowered to choose your next action. You can respond to whatever life throws at you with genuine dignity and grace.
Which leads me to this final, provocative question. What will you put on your shelf today? The next time you feel that sudden surge of frustration, anxiety, or defensive pride, I challenge you to visualize taking that feeling, taking your ego, and physically placing it up on a metaphorical shelf, totally out of reach. Just experience the profound calm that follows. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredibly empowering source material in today's explainer. Practice this visualization and enjoy the mental space it creates for a better, much more balanced life.